Right. Let's start with the new junk city then. Mhm. By the way, what I mentioned about self review specifics, do you have any
Mhm.
questions about that, or everything's clear? What I mentioned so far? Just the stuff before. How you pick up the patterns, how do you pick up the things to work on, or everything's clear?
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, just in case. So maybe tell me, because I think it's one of the topics for us to go over anyway. So if you're looking to self what review this game, how
Mhm.
you would go about that? What you would do?
Um, I'd probably just look at like I'd probably look at like target priority, look at where I'm positioning,
Mhm.
and then also also just ability usage and alt usage.
Target priority, ability usage, ult usage. It's another topic, right? And positioning.
Positioning.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So there are few things wanna mention. So first of all, do you see any problem when we're phrasing it like that? When we're what reviewing this way? Is there anything what not too specific? What do you think?
Oh, I see.
So the first one, target priority. The second one is ability usage. Third one is ult usage, and the last one is positioning, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think? Are those topics, are those too specific or a little bit general?
Um, probably general, I think.
Yeah, a little bit too general. So
Mhm.
see, every seam, I think almost, well, except of the target priority, maybe, yeah. Every seam can go into multiple directions. Yeah. The
Mhm.
ability usage can go into how to use your recall. So it's your E.
Mhm.
And then it can be how you use your blink. I'm just gonna mention shift. Ult usage. Well, this one could actually work. Yeah, this one you can it's kind of specific. Positioning, though, on the other hand, there are a lot of specifics. Yeah? And see, this
Mhm.
is what I mean. When you, what you have to pick really specific things you're gonna work on. You
Oh yeah.
really, yeah, you really have to make sure if you what reviewing, if you have certain concepts in mind, you've been practicing, then you just working on those, and those should be specific. Yeah, those should be
Mhm.
okay. Am I working on my recall? Am I working on my maybe positioning? Am I working on my corners? Am I working on my
Mhm.
angle control? How you
Oh yeah.
flank, for example? Yeah, flanks. So pick something specific.
Mhm.
That is the first thing, and another one, another one is, yeah, how you would go about that. Yeah, let's say you have those topics. Yeah,
Mhm.
let's try to pick three topics. Again, maybe all of those things, it's a little bit too much. Let's try to pick three specific topics you could work on doing this what review.
Mhm.
You would pay attention to. So what those would be?
Flanks, I would say,
Okay.
and then also angles.
Flank. Well, just what's the
Or
difference? Flank control, sure.
mhm.
What about the angles? What is the difference between flank control and angle control?
Angles like if you're like out in the open, kind of
Ah,
like angled in the out in the open, or if you're like angled like where they can barely see you, or like you have a
ah.
good angle.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense if you're phrasing it this way. Yeah, angle control. But what do we mean by that is kind of minimizing the sweats, dealing with one sweat at a time, for example.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the second. And what about the third one?
It could be probably is target priority. Or,
Yeah, sure. Sure.
mhm,
Yeah. And that's how you can go about that. When you go in a game,
mhm,
you just looking at those three principles, or you could even simplify it even more and just look at the one. But why you picking those things? It's because you've been working on those. Yeah. So you had
mhm,
goals. So you had goals. That is your kind of first thing. Yeah, it's somewhere like yeah. And then the second one is just you what review and look yeah like how you applying those concepts later.
mhm,
You practice. You practice. You repeat, and that is your thought process. You kind of right after the practice, you can again what review. You can see okay, like am I doing bad at flank control? Am I doing bad at angle control, target priority? And if you notice you doing good at something yet, like for example, really good at angle control. Okay, let me replace it with
mhm.
other concept. I can replace it with something else, but definitely like being more mindful. Yeah, so you're not working on too many things. You're not writing down too
Oh
many
yeah.
issues. Those are specific, and you just kind of doing it yeah, doing it because you've been practicing those concepts, yeah, not just
Mhm.
putting something out
I,
there.
I like that because usually when I was doing self thoughts, I was just very general about it. You know what I mean? Like I was
Exactly.
just thinking, okay, where my position? Oh, I'm in a bad position. That's it. I mean,
Right.
that's all I would think. But I never thought about, okay, I need to focus on my flank, my flank control, my angle control, uh, my targeting, which is better, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Exactly. 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 See, if you want a little bit general overview, that's
Mm-hmm.
only the time when you don't have any goals to work on. If you don't have those topics but that's why I'm here. Like I'm kind of making it easy. We're going in a game, and I'm giving you exact goals to work on, right? But just
Mm-hmm.
in case, if you're really good at applying all the things we discussed, you can go in a game and find what your goals are. But you can only find those goals by looking at patterns. So how do you do that? That is where you can write down all the issues. So let's say I'm doing it this way. I'm going in a match right now, and I'm seeing, okay, first fight. Yeah, what's going wrong about that? What am I doing here? How do, maybe how I'm using my blink. So how I'm using my cover. Is it good enough? And
Mm-hmm.
if you spot a mistake, you write it down. And it can be multiple things. But then you wrote it down once. That is your first fight. That's when you did it. You can kind of have it on a piece of paper where you, or maybe notes on your, I don't know, on your PC anywhere.
Oh
Just
yeah.
write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first fight I made these mistakes. Fine, but then the next fight you do the same. You write down all the issues you see. So for example,
Mm-hmm.
I can move into here. Repeat. Let me see. Okay, so that's when the second fight starts. Yeah. This is kind of the timestamp for us. And you write it down on the piece of paper, all the issues again. But then after you've done all of this, checkings, yeah? You notice the patterns.
Yep.
What is the most occurring issue? Maybe try to find 3 most occurring issues. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why we found out like flank control, angle control, target priority might be your focus, yeah? Because those been the most occurring issues we've been seeing. But you can do it by yourself. If you want general what review, then that is where it makes sense if you identify the actual patterns, if you identify the actual goals.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Any questions about all of that here?
No, I think you explained everything good. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we can kind of cross this topic off the list. Nice. Uh, uh, let's actually see. Uh, do you remember what was difficult about this game, just in terms of the blink management? Anything you think? What comes to mind? Anything? Yeah.
I would say I think it was the target priority
Target priority. What about the blink management?
because blink management definitely. Like
Yeah.
I because when my ball went in, I would have no blinks, or maybe it's just because I used them up.
Right.
I wasn't sure if because I guess my timing there was just not, or I wasn't positioned in the best spot.
Mm-hmm. So it seems like the timing is a little bit off. Sure.
Mhm.
And the blink management is kind of connecting you to that timing issue. Well, technically, what you can do, you can always close the gap really fast if
Mhm.
you're using your blink. Sure, like the ball engages, you can close the gap really fast, but the thing is, ideally, we want to have most of our blinks for the actual fight. We want to use blinks to dodge stuff. If
Yeah.
they are doing damage to you, maybe it's Cassidy using grenade, maybe it's Surgeon's charge shot. Ideally, we want to avoid that. And see,
Mhm.
that is where we're exactly in a kind of dangerous situation. Yeah, see, we don't have the blinks. We kind of,
Yeah.
it's complicated for us. Well, let's take a look. What you could be doing right here to help you out to have more blinks? Is there any possible rotation you could take? Any good position you think as well? What's your opinion?
I think I can just either walk forward instead of using my blinks,
Oh, you
right?
can. Yeah, definitely.
Or I go for all the way around. I might like underneath, and then I'm not sure if that goes outside, but
Have
yeah, out
this
there and then
right.
there.
Yeah, I think this is pretty valuable. Yeah, this is pretty valuable. Sure, and you get on this kind of 180 flank, yeah, because you're not
Mhm.
facing the enemy that much. It's gonna be easier for you. You're not gonna take as much pressure, and you make them to turn around. But see, because we do in this rotation, we're putting ourselves as close as we can to the enemy. We
Mhm.
if we at this position, or yeah, I think this one works. Maybe it's this one as well. Sometimes,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
But because we is really close to the enemy now, becomes really easy. You don't have to use as many blinks. That is the first idea. Yeah, getting as close as we can. Setting up, but then another thing, where your ball is about to fight. Yeah, like if you want to get the
Mhm.
timing right, want to understand where you set up the fight. So by looking at that, where the fight is gonna be most likely.
Probably on by the arrows, the two arrows on the left side, like where
Yeah.
they're all at right now.
Yeah. So it's around here, kind of around this
Mhm.
space. Yeah, exactly. That's what you're looking for. Just looking to get the shortest range corner. Yeah. So what I
Mhm.
mean by that is, if you go from here to here, you have to use a lot of
Mhm.
blinks. But if you go, so let's call it A and B. But if you go from A1 and
Mhm.
B1, you maybe you don't have to use blinks at all, or just one. Where A to B, I have to use two blinks. So that's kind of complicated. Okay.
What would you recommend for the start? Is there like an ideal best route to take at the beginning, or like the fastest route, or is it
Might
better to just
be.
go either way?
It depends, but you. That's why you experimenting is gonna be important, definitely. But
Mhm.
you cannot choose fundamentally. We cannot choose to fight a long range sightlines because you have
Yeah.
to close the gap with a lot of your blinks. That is not good. Even though it takes
Mhm.
slightly more time for you to set up, it's still better. Yeah, like trying to go this way usually will lead to situation that you on the flank you have
Mhm.
pretty short range rotation, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna do that flank all the time. Who knows, maybe the
Oh yeah.
enemy might take different rotation. It's just the most common, the enemies will go here most likely, so
Mhm.
probably 90% of the cases is gonna be good flank. You also have the HP pack to work with, so
Mhm.
that is something probably wanna pay attention to. uh, Obviously, again, experimenting and seeing what is the best thing for me to do. Mm, Kind of, so your rotation can go kind of, I don't know, you start here, you drop, go this way, you blink up the stairs, and probably that would be pretty good. If they chase you, by the
Mhm.
way, they can they will isolate themselves, which is nice. You can fight isolated targets. Why not? That's all good.
Mhm.
Definitely, it's a lot about map knowledge too. But
Oh yeah.
if you're not sure, if you really this kind of long range sightline, rather take more time and set up first. Take more time to do proper rotation because that's what gets you killed. You don't have a blink to answer the aggression.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first importance of setup. Just short range corners. Okay. So you're trying to take kind of side angle. You set up and then fight. Yeah, kind of like that. Even this can work. Obviously,
Mhm.
you blinking out in the open, it's a little bit scary, but not as much because you at this short range space real quick, and then using this space to give you resources back. When you set it
Mhm.
up, you can use all of your blinks if you know you can get them back. It's fine. Then you choosing to play here, you're gonna get most of your blinks, and you can answer the enemy's aggression. Sure, that can work.
Mhm.
Yeah. So here you have swiblings. Now the main problem is for most traces is how do you dodge damage? How do you actually respond to the enemy's aggression? And it's a lot about
Mhm.
not you reacting, actually. Like a lot of people say, yeah, I need good reaction. Not really. You need to anticipate a lot of things. So, if you're looking at this duel, for example,
Mhm.
what can damage you? What can do a lot of hurt,
The
a lot of
oh
damage
yeah,
towards you? Yeah.
the queen when she's in short range, like just
Sure. Yeah. Queen short range shotgun can do a lot. What about her cooldowns?
oh her knife probably,
Knife. Exactly. Exactly. Anything else?
and then she also has the overheal shift,
Right.
which makes her even more
Right.
tanky. So
Right. Well, shout, but it's not doing the well. It's kind of speeding you, so you can keep that in
mhm.
mind. But it's not dealing direct damage. I think
Oh, her
offensive
knife,
cooldowns.
I forgot.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
knife, the shotgun, or the axe. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's her E, if I'm not mistaken. It's does a lot of pressure, so you gotta keep that in mind. Oh, it's shift. No, it's so you gotta keep that in mind. And
Mhm.
it's not just about reacting; it's more about anticipating. So when you go in a game, what you have to do really to kind of build that habit is look at the enemy comp and just
Mhm.
identify what can do a lot of burst to you, what can even kill you sometimes. Those cooldowns you should be tracking. You should get comfortable tracking. Mm, I think usually starting with tracking just 2 or 3 cooldowns is enough. Yeah?
Mhm.
Ideally, the more you do that, yeah, the more comfortable you're gonna be at tracking 2 cooldowns. Later, you'll notice how you can add one more to track, and then one more to track. Yeah, that is how you
Mhm.
do that. But if you look at the enemy comp, see what are the things which can kill you, and what are the things which can do a lot of damage to you. So we mentioned it's a queen. It's well, let's just start with cooldowns here. Cooldowns. It's queen knife. Okay,
Mhm.
knife is pretty big one. It's the axe. Oh, it's axe. What about the other guys? Anything what can damage
Um,
you?
Soji's like just her rifle, like her pulse rifle when she has it like fully charged. That could I don't know if it'll insta kill me. I think it takes like 2 shots,
It's
right?
a lot of damage though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the another part. This is the fire. I'm just gonna call it primary fire. Yeah, Lari's fire. Sure. It's can do a lot of damage. It's a mouse one.
Mhm.
Just gonna do it this way. Like, how do you? Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna call it like Ilari. Okay. I'm not gonna write down.
Mhm.
I think it's like this or something. This is her
Oh
name.
yeah,
Ilari.
2 L's and then an I at the end.
Ah, okay. This is matter.
Yeah.
Well, we just yeah. Okay. I just
No,
call
it's
it
okay.
call it this. Yeah, it's alright. And then what about the other stuff?
Cassidy's grenade thing, and then
Yeah,
it's probably his
grenade.
primary fire too,
Mm-hmm.
and his I guess his burst shot too, if
Yeah,
I'm close to him.
yeah. So it's a gas E, a burst shot. It's a gas primary fire. Actually, pretty much everybody
Everyone, yeah.
except of the surgeon,
Only
because
Soju's
it takes
row.
time. Yeah, it takes time for her to charge. It's still kind of similar to Alaris. So really, like most of the primary fire here is pretty dangerous. You gotta look at
Mm-hmm.
that. But the first thing you gotta track is the cooldowns. Primary fire is
Mm-hmm.
important, obviously, but cooldowns are even more important for you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go in a game, you're just gonna identify what kind of C cooldowns I'm playing around, and ideally shouldn't be hit by those. So it's Cassidy, it's a knife, and what is the most dangerous? Mm-mm-mm. Cassidy. In terms of cooldowns, probably it can be Axe. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Identify big bursting cooldowns to play around. Maybe you can mix it up. Just do it like, okay, what is the most dangerous? I think if I phrase it this way, the most dangerous might be Surgeon Shot, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Alaris. Well, the second would be probably Grenade. That is second dangerous. Third one might be Knife or Alari. Lari's damage. So you can look at it this way. I'm just saying, okay, what are the top three dangerous cooldowns, and play around those. Not just
Mm-hmm.
only cooldowns, but also yeah, big damage as I mentioned. Okay, that is the first part. Now, when you can anticipate, it's much easier for you to react. Okay, what do you gotta react to if you know the Chanka Queen is? Oh, how do you react to the knife? Yeah, let's phrase it this way. Is there anything you can look for to make it easy for you to dodge the knife?
Probably like to the sides or blink behind her, I guess.
Sure.
Like left or right, like kind of like AD. A bit.
Yeah, but what do you respond to? Do you respond to sound key of the knife? Do you respond to a certain animation or something? Yeah, see, this is what you want to be
Oh yeah.
specific about.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Oh yeah, when she pulls out, like once I see her pull out her axe, or because her axe comes out a little slower, or when she's about to throw her knife too, I can react.
Exactly. So you want to notice the movements. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
we gotta look. So what the Junkakuin does, it's not that you gotta look at the knife exactly, at the knife which is
Yeah.
gonna go after you. No, you gotta look at exactly the animation.
Oh.
So
Oh yeah.
but
Her
the
shots.
well, the shots, sure. This is another story, yeah. Like, but the knife, like, let me see. She's gonna use it really soon, I think. Like right there. See,
Mm.
this is what I meant. Shots is a little bit different, but yeah, similar. So if you look at it just in a slow mo. So you've been shooting here, yeah, then you blink, you go back, and then she's gonna knife after. Yeah?
Mm.
So see, you
Oh
want to
yeah.
react
Mm-hmm.
to not the knife exactly, but to the
To the
movement.
way she moves her arm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. It's the same as with any sport. Uh, I can give you an analogy. For example, in football, there's been a training. They had two players. One was a new player,
Mm-hmm.
and another player was experienced player. I think it was Ronaldo. And what they did, they put trackers on their eyes. They put trackers on their eyes to see where they're looking
Mm-hmm.
when they trying to play with the ball. What they tried to do, I think, it was they tried to outplay. They tried to get the ball from defender. Yeah, one of the
Mm-hmm.
guys, they had a ball and then they tried to just get the ball, basically like stop the defender or outplay the defender, whatever. So, what do you think the new player was looking the most when he tried to outplay the defender? What do you think? Where his
I think
attention
he.
was?
Oh, he was looking at the ball, or he was
Uh,
looking at the body. I mean, player,
The
like the.
yeah, you was correct the first time. Yeah, the new player, they most likely they respawn to exact
Mhm.
I just call it consequence. Yeah, because the
Oh
ball,
yeah.
what triggers the ball's movement? It's a movement of the body. It triggers the just how you move your legs, how you move maybe your arms even, but mostly it's legs.
Mhm.
So you gotta look at the hips where the and based on that you can react to where the ball is moving. Yeah, so new player have been looking at the ball a lot, and they it's really hard for them to respond, and also their
Mhm.
movement of the eyes it's really chaotic. Where with professional player, he was looking directly at one point and then at another. Yeah, so it should be not us looking like entire body. Yeah, like one piece of attention here, another piece of attention here, another piece of attention here. No, the professional
Mhm.
player, they know where to look exactly. So it's a one quick look here, another quick look on maybe something else, and
Mhm.
later they know what's about to happen, where the ball is about to move. And same about here. You gotta
Yeah.
look at those couple of spots, maybe 3 spots sometimes, yeah, and identify what is the action she's gonna do. That's what you're reacting to,
Mhm.
not to the bullets, but to the movement. Mm-hmm.
It's funny that you say that because I used to play soccer and I used to be like a defender, so I had to like what's it called watch the or I have to like watch what they're gonna make, what move they're gonna make and stuff like player was
Right,
gonna do.
right, exactly. And you was
Yeah.
what you tried to do, where you was looking exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I just
Oh
interested.
yeah.
You've been looking on at the movement, right?
Oh yeah. I had to look at the movement like to see like okay is he gonna go right or left
Mm-hmm.
like because you know how they do feints with their like or when they're dribbling and stuff they like kind of do
Exactly.
feints a little. So I had to
Yeah.
look at their what's it called their feet to see or like the
Yes.
body's movement.
Yes,
That's funny.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, but it's similar. The same concepts. They are
Mhm.
applicable living in the game. But it's pretty common to see like the players that making the mistake. I really look in the bullets. Okay, so that was the first part. Respond to movement. And the second, well, just about the shots. You know, when you're fighting,
Mhm.
you because you responded to well, it's kind of similar, but there is no movement of the arms or whatever. Like when the character starts shooting, you see, for example,
Mhm.
when the knife is gonna be uh being thrown towards you. Usually, characters like any characters when they try to throw something, they're raising the arm. Actually, like you
Mhm.
notice the Anna showing the nade, it's raising the arm.
Oh yeah.
Cassidy raising the arm. I think.
Mhm.
Even Tracer, when you saw the pools bomb, you kind of raised the arm.
True
Actually,
is
if
wrong.
I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, yeah. So notice that is when you dodge cooldowns. They raise their whatever their arm, but when they shoot you, it's mostly about the attention, where they're looking. So
Mhm.
if you know at this range, the Jungle Queen is looking at you. That is something you should be responding to as well,
Mhm.
especially if it's hit scan. Okay, so if you know she is just right on you, she's about to do a lot of damage. What we should be
Mhm.
doing right here.
Should either blinking to the right or to the blinking like on the other side like either behind you or on the right. Well, actually, probably on the right. I would say
Hmm. Why the right is better?
like the very. I would say very, very, very. Oh wait, because it's like away from where she's shooting.
Away from where she's shooting, sure. But what's the difference
So,
between A and B? So what's the difference between behind and B?
well, bees make sure have to look to the other side, so she has to kind of like turn her mouse that way, and then A
Yeah.
actually A would probably be better because she has to look
Hmm.
all the way behind
Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
because
So
she have to
interesting.
turn her mouse all around. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's interesting. That's why it's tricky, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But the fundamental rule is usually, but the trace you wanna blink on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Why on this side is better? So it's this kind of similar to this. when you blink into B. Why it's better? Because most of the players, they have their muscle memory built on C60 180 turns, especially. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
quite easy for them to turn this way and answer. Like if you blink behind them directly, you
Hmm.
might notice versus Widowmakers, versus Ash, even Cassidy's at some point. It might be the habit you will face with. So usually it's better to blink on the side, so it's not that accurate. So they're not gonna
Yeah.
place their mouse on you as soon as possible. It throws off their aim more actually
Hmm.
this way. So that's the one thing. That's why blinking on the side works. But now, when you're choosing where to blink, you can blink left, you can blink right. When you're blinking on the side,
Hmm.
even in this case, which side is better?
Um, Probably C, I think,
Why C?
because I don't think the other enemies will have vision on my,
Uh huh.
so they won't be able to shoot
Yeah, yeah. That what
because
matters.
there's the May wall there.
Yeah, that one matters. Yeah, exactly. You gotta keep in mind where the enemies are as well. I think probably
Hmm.
yeah. Well, obviously, probably dead here, but anyway, when you and you're blinking, you're deciding to minimize the threats. You're deciding to just fight one target at a time. So that is how
Yeah.
you think about that. Yeah, exactly. Going left instead of blinking twice. Yeah, blink once, react to the attention. Later, you can react to the cooldown in the same way. Mm, but it's about anticipating. First of all, you go on a match and see, okay, top three dangerous things to play around. Yeah. That's how you train the habit. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Let's take a look. So this bling is kind of meant to fight the Cassidy and just kind of get a kill
Yeah.
on him. Mm-hmm.
But I was probably bad blinks though because I blinked right
Well,
in front of him.
don't don't have blinks as well. Yeah, you're probably gonna end up in front of him no matter what. Yeah, you wanna end up on the side, as I mentioned. Yeah, to show
Mhm.
off the aim, sure. But again, yeah, we don't have the blinks. So, is there anything we can do to have the blinks? Actually, what's your opinion?
I think I could just walk instead of using all those blinks all the way to get over there.
How you would walk? So you here? Let's call
Hmm.
it Kone. Mm-hmm. You just walk this way.
Um, Probably towards the like walls, like closer to the like yeah, like closer to the walls. I'd say.
Well, you
Hmm.
walk closer to the left wall or the right wall?
Closer to probably the left wall.
Well, let's take a look. You're here. You're close to the left wall. He still sees you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or
So,
I think I just wait.
well, you
Maybe.
wait, and then you have to do two blinks. Probably,
Hmm.
or even three if he plays really far, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So what's the answer?
Go to the right then.
Mm-hmm.
Blink
Go
to the right.
blink to the right, yeah. So you're looking
Hmm.
to set up the fight. When you're dueling somebody, even though it's small setup, it might seem really short sometimes. You get into the corner, but then you
Hmm.
go on them instantly for whatever reason. Yeah, it's just maybe they lost the HP already. You notice, oh, okay, like I can go in. Maybe you got your second blink back ready. You can fight. Yeah, so you good. The fundamental rule
Hmm.
is usually have most of your blinks, but the first
Yeah.
thing is set up the closest corner. Yeah, find the closest corner to the enemy. Yeah, blink
Hmm.
there first, and after we trying to fight. Okay, closest corner, and then a diagonal blinks, right? Reacting to things, reacting to cooldowns. That's something you can do as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's watch more. Okay, so He's just a shooting the mercy. It's probably a difficult target this case.
Yeah.
Let me see. So what are we reacting to? Fighting versus the surgeon, and then we link back here.
Oh, I just blink. Yeah.
Is it necessary now?
No,
Not as much.
I think I didn't need a blink.
Mm-hmm. See, now it's a little
Probably
bit
could just
unnecessary.
dropped.
Yeah, just drop and shoot, and then you're reacting to the attention. If she's gonna
Mhm.
turn, then sure, you can do things. Where do you drop? You can be specific about where do you drop exactly. It might seem difficult, like at the when you're fighting, just in the game. Otherwise, it's better
Mhm.
to drop. Like, you can drop
Um.
right
Mhm.
behind her. You can drop kind of towards the right side
Oh yeah.
corner. Mm-hmm. What do you think it would be the best for you to be?
I think to where the May wall, like right behind her, and then I could blink to the right if I need to blink.
Okay, okay. But see, a lot of players again they have muscle memory to turn
Oh yeah.
when they see it. Well, it's
Mhm.
something you have to judge. Obviously, like what is bigger danger? Sometimes if you're right behind them, you know, they have muscle memory. Well, might be not as dangerous as you being here when you're exposed towards multiple enemies for whatever reason. Now it's
Mhm.
not the case though. If you're here, you're on the side, the enemies they don't have as much like maybe you here you would be walking because you can end up at this corner instantly. You would be walking this way,
Mhm.
maybe shooting her, but it takes time to exactly readjust the aim, do proper readjusting because it's not as strict. Yeah, like 180 turn. But then you also have this piece of cover to protect you later. Yeah? If you would be
That's true.
here and then there are other people who can shoot you when you behind this cover, obviously you would maybe you would choose this. Yeah, you just gotta judge how to minimize the threats really when you're doing all the things. It's just kind of in a duel. Then when it matters, like blinking on the side. If you're not affected by anything else, sure, this rule always works. Um, but then when you against multiple enemies, be careful. Yeah, you have to judge
Mhm.
based on how to minimize the potential damage. Hmm. Yeah, so we reacted to the pressure there. Yeah, see, like this is what I mean. You're trying to blink and react to the attention. So once she starts turning, she's looking at you. Well,
Yeah.
um, y-
I blink
sh-
forward.
maybe
Or,
shooting. Yeah, again, blinking forward as well. Yeah, like this is not on exactly on the side. Yeah, so if you wanna blink against her, like try to duel her, then maybe you can go this way, eh? Like go on the left side. Maybe it's going up the stairs. Definitely not forward. Yeah, we wanna show
Mhm.
off the enemy's aim a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. Let's take a look.
I think we win this round. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. So we're setting up. The first thing we mentioned, getting as close as we can. Yeah. Set up.
Mhm.
You can use your blinks to set up first and then fight. Let's see. Can we get even closer? Uh-huh.
I think we can get closer, but I think I just didn't wait. Like, I wasn't patient.
Yes, yeah. So the closest corner might be maybe this one. Mm, this one is a little bit tricky. Yeah, you don't have as much cover. Maybe you could use that. Even here might work. I'm just scared about this high ground. I don't think you can do it properly if you fight in this space. So even just this, yeah, kind of
Mhm.
okay, using this, getting most of your blinks, and then fighting. It's the fundamental rule because here I think we only had one blink when we in.
Yeah.
That's not ideal. Yeah? Most of your blinks is two or three. Two or three most of the time should work. You still win, which is nice. Okay. But in Junk Queen, yeah, same thing. See, like what do we get to react to? especially if she knows where you are. That is again something you can anticipate. If enemies know where you are and they have big burst, assume like that you need to change the angle. It's not that you should blink instantly, yeah, because they don't know.
Mhm.
You react to the attention, but because you know that the attention is gonna be towards you because you've been shooting them, you know, then
Yeah.
that is something you're gonna be reacting to with your blinks.
Yeah, I think I gotta start looking at the animation and motion
Mhm.
because I keep reacting when she's shooting, or
Yeah.
when she's about to shoot. But I should know
Mhm.
like she's looking. If she's looking at me, then I gotta like be ready to move.
Exactly. Where you should move in this case. Where you should blink to in this case, right here.
Probably to the right.
Huh. To
Like
the right, on the side. That's where you should be.
um
Yeah. You disagree or?
yeah, to the right where the little box is at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You have piece of cover there as well,
Mhm.
so that's quite nice. We kind of blinking back a little bit. Obviously, you still kill her. But anyway, who knows? Because you blinking behind, maybe it takes time for her to turn, and then she is not
Mhm.
gonna shoot somebody, maybe get a kill or farm on ultimate. Okay.
I forgot about his role.
No, it's alright. It's by the way, it connects us to the things we've been mentioning. I've been telling you track offensive cooldowns, track the most dangerous cooldowns. You can also do another habit where you track defensive cooldowns, so
Mhm.
it make it easy for you to pressure the enemy as well.
Mhm.
That's another story. I have a big problem with this blink though.
Oh yeah, that's a bad bleed. That's like
Well,
right in front of me.
okay, swider front, sure.
I got blink to the side,
Yeah, blink to
like
the
to the.
side. Well, how you would go about that? Like, let's say you have your sticky. Mm, Because actually, it might make sense if you blink, stick Cassidy real quick, and get out.
Mhm.
But how your rotation should be looking like? You
I
blink
should
on this
probably
side.
blink to the right, so like where there's cover, and then
Uh-huh.
blink again to the like left.
Yeah, kind of. So it's more a zigzag, call it this way. It's less
Yeah,
linear.
not
See,
just straight.
yeah, you're going from one corner to the second, then to the third, but it should be kind of like this sort of, or it can
Mhm.
be like this, because this way you make an enemy to do those micro readjustments, which is really nice. But it's still hard for them. They still have to react where you're gonna end up. Where you, on the other hand, if you're really a smart player, because you one step ahead, you know, oh, I'm gonna end up there, so I can place my crosshair there already. That's why you have an advantage when you're
Mhm.
using the blinks. You know where you're gonna end up. The enemy player, they don't know. It's really hard. That's why Tracer is like one of the most powerful characters 1v1s.
Mhm.
They never gonna know. So it's kind of nice, but this is a little bit too linear, and that was the case before as well. Remember when you was closing the gap with the Cassidy before? Obviously, the biggest priority was the setup, how you been setting up, but they've been point some sometimes it's been a little bit too linear.
Oh yeah.
Hmm? So, for example, even here, if you trying to, for whatever reason, you're trying to close the gap again, it's not just towards the face of the enemy, but kind of on this side. Well, here
Mhm.
it's, you have to get it out, but let me see the next fight. Oh, oh, it seems kind of regrouping at this point of time. Okay, it's when you start fighting. You just find the closest range corner. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's where
It just went
that's the
all
tricky.
my.
Yeah, you gotta set up probably like take the time. So maybe
Mhm.
you go here. Well, your team is regrouping. You know, again,
Mhm.
your team is gonna come from this side. So if you do this 180 setup, you're gonna be fine. You know, most of the enemy's attention is gonna be at those gates in front. If they're turning, this way, it's really nice for your team. Just get the closest corner. Maybe even getting to here might work. But yeah, like that, not too strictly like we did. It's
Mm-hmm.
difficult. Mm. Don't have any blinks to fight, so you don't have as much uptime. Okay, see, like that was better. When we're reacting to the attention of the enemy, no. Okay, they're about to do big damage. Like you see the movement. Okay, they do this. Well, it's ideally something you've gotta be reacting to. She kind of missed there, but
Yeah, I got lucky there. If it
yeah,
was a good surge, they wouldn't make it.
I thought
But
we
they hit it.
dodged it for a second, but then yeah, she just missed it. Yeah, like right there though. That is when.
Mm-hmm.
That is where you should be reacting. Kind of again, not because it'll react in the bullet. No, it's because you see glowing gun, you see the attention, so you
Mm-hmm.
expect big burst. So you blink, maybe this way, maybe this way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're reacting to. You saw enough enemy this way. Okay, let me see. Do I have any examples for tracer blink management? I might have. Yeah, probably I do. So things so far. Tracking cooldowns, blinking on the side, react to cooldowns, big damage. Setting up, obviously, help, helps a lot. Okay. I'm thinking, do we use the rest of our time in the session to just kind of what review, maybe what review the second game, or do you want to do a live game as well? I think it's fine if you do it on your own, but just yeah, what do you prefer?
Mm-hmm. Either is fine for me. It's what do you think? What do you think is the best?
Mm,
Um.
I think both can work, actually. I think it's fine. If you do what review, it's okay. It's just like on those little bit complicated topics, really like a lot of micros as well. But let me see.
Mm-hmm.
I can just use anything. maybe, maybe this as an example. Blank management. Let's take a look. I'm just trying to find. Maybe this one is good. Let's see. It's a different one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's already set up the fight, by the way. One of those important rules we've been talking about a lot all the time. We get in the closest corner, and then
Mm-hmm.
we trying to shoot the enemy later. While he is blinking, well, he kind of, I think he started shooting a little bit too early. In reality, you don't have to. You might just wait a little, be patient, now because
Mm-hmm.
he knows that he was shooting, he has to react to because the enemy is gonna turn at him. So he's reacting to the attention and big damage. What big damage might come is that charge shot with the surgeon, for example. So that
Mm-hmm.
is something you want to keep in mind. But you're not reacting instantly. Yeah, see, like right now, you can be confident when shooting, even though it's not the best range yet. Yeah, like it's still he can shoot, he can apply pressure because there's no attention yet. Why he's not going well? He kind of mistimed the pressure, I think. His diva is taking a lot of damage, but then he realized he's out, so he can go. But then once she is gonna be pressured a
Mm-hmm.
lot, you see she's gonna die. Even he starts a lot of pressure. Well, just a little bit of mistiming on his part. But anyway, mm, trying to see like why he's blinking to exactly. See, this is what I meant.
Oh
Meant
yeah,
he's not
he's
blinking
blinking in
straight.
cover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more of a zigzag kind of going towards the left. You don't want to fall off. That's why he's careful. But still, he's blinking a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, ending up with the movement. But it's a corner to corner zigzag to solve the enemy's aim and see like this is. Even though you close in distance this way, still viable. Of course, he has to get out at this point. That's
Mm-hmm.
important. We're not blinking straight, blinking more zigzag. Okay. Another thing is blinking on the side. So let's see. For example, fighting the Sigma. Well, he has to give up space because his team is dead. But let me see the next fight. What he's gonna do? Yeah. Well, he's just getting out. It's one more important rule as well. But because you live in the back line, you can set up quite a lot of pressure. Here, yeah. I think he's gonna die there if I remember correctly. Yeah, the surgeons got him. That he
Mhm.
was not expecting it because he didn't see maybe whatever. Maybe it's glowing gun. Maybe he was not expecting this shift,
Oh
but
yeah.
it can happen. Let's see the next one. Yeah, fighting the Baptiste, for example. Baptiste is shooting. See where he's blinking. It's not
Mhm.
exactly behind. Should be a little bit on the side. Yeah, so a little bit towards the
Yeah.
left, a little bit towards the right, maybe. So now it's harder. Good players, they have the mechanical memory to do all this stuff. Now, see, the second blink was so fast. Just he's looking this way. Yeah, a little bit on the side, not behind,
Mhm.
on the side. Yeah, takes time. He has cover as well. One of these things which you mentioned to minimize the threats, obviously. That's how you treat it. Okay.
Mhm.
Anything else?
I think that's definitely one thing that I struggle with. Like 1v1s, I wasn't sure how I should win the fight. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because I think you know how I just kept thinking I would always just blink straight. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
forward instead of
Exactly.
blinking on the off angle or
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. You blink on the side and all those nice additions. You want to keep those in mind. Where's the cover? Where's the HP pack?
Mhm.
How do you maintain flanks? Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely those kind of those are pretty important. Well, he's using the bomb, maybe not necessary to use it this way. But again, yeah, we're using cover and see again kind of more side rotations, not
Oh
too
yeah.
straight, yeah. We're not gonna blink from this side towards the enemy. No. We're trying to do it a little bit
So
like
you're gonna look.
zigzag, a little bit like here to solve the enemy's aim. Then we go blink once, fight. He has no other way but blink around, but still he's using the
Mhm.
corner. Even this, you can call it small setup. When you don't have blinks, you
Mhm.
went from one space to another. So he went from A to B here. This is the setup. That is where you need to get more. He will need to get most of his blinks and then commit and fight to get a kill.
Mhm.
He still can shoot, but he knows that he needs to get most of his blinks first. Once he knows,
Mhm.
okay, like he's done it, he can commit properly. But he's kind of an exception because the Baptiste was low. If you know you can get a kill, I think it's like can be fine reason to commit early. You don't have to wait for
Mhm.
more silver links. If you know that you're not gonna get a kill, usually the rule is you wait for more silver links. So it's easy. I think he heard an ultimate as well. There was a the surgeon ult, for example. So that is one more thing
Mhm.
to understand, like why pushing forward makes
Oh.
sense. Okay, yeah. So that's 4 examples. Mm, no, maybe we could try to apply, yeah, but I'm not sure. Maybe let's try to do quick play one so we have time. What do you think?
Mhm.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do
Sure. Yeah.
let's do quick play one and then we just look at the side blinks a little bit more. Let's do side blinks. And
Okay.
before we do side blinks, I think you should be able to set up. Yeah, just invest the time in getting proper position first.
Mhm.
I will let you screen share 1 second.
Alright.
Okay, I think
I'll get it
you can
started.
do it now.
All right.
Yeah, you can screen share. I think it should be possible.